Welcome to Dead Serious, a show about short horror stories worthy of discussion. I'm Dead Palette, the person responsible for 90% of the views on internet watermelon videos. Today, we are taking a look at a creepypasta entitled Japanese New Year Ritual. We haven't really tackled a whole lot of ritual-related things on Dead Serious, and I think now is as good a time as any to do just that. Well, that's what we're going to do. There is a ritual that originated in Japan that allows you to get the answer to any question you ask. Here's how it goes. On the last day of the year, do not partake of any food or water for 24 hours. Do not go outside. And close all of your curtains. Do not sleep either. At the stroke of 10 o'clock, 2 hours before the new year, you must prepare a fruit basket with exactly 1 pineapple, 3 bananas, 2 apples, and 30 grapes. Make sure these are precise. When you prepare the basket, you must cut your hand and allow yourself to bleed onto the fruit. Ooh, we're getting some fruit blood. If you don't know about fruit blood is fucking incredible. Make sure you get the blood on each one of the pieces to be safe. Check them all. Do not close your eyes while doing this. And do not dress your wound. So very bizarre, very specific. I'm not even sure. Yeah, like bananas definitely are native to Japan. So this has to be like a more modern ritual that originated in recent years. Okay, I'm going to go along with this. Seems very bizarre, but let's just press on. At the stroke of midnight, you must find the nearest forest and walk deep into it until you find a clearing. Build a fire and sit by it with the basket of fruit in front of you. You must stay there in that position and make sure the fire doesn't go out. When the time is right, the wise one will appear out of the forest and approach you. He will be very tall and thin, almost like the Slender Man, almost twice as tall as your size. He will have 2 large black eyes. His mouth will be very wide, with jagged, sharp teeth sticking out of his lip. He will have no neck. So I suppose this guy is the exact opposite of the yokai Rokurokubi. You ever see a Rokurokubi, the thing that has like the long neck? Anyway, enough of me being a weeaboo. He will be naked, and his expression will be blank. Like a psychopath about to have sex. When you see him, don't scream or run away, or else he will chase you down and kill you. Don't say anything either. He will always be staring directly into your eyes, so do not break eye contact, or he will murder you. After he sees that you are brave enough to stay, he will kneel down, still making eye contact, and eat the fruit. Still, do not break eye contact, even as he's eating. You know, that's a neat little idea. I like the idea of putting blood on fruit and then having someone eat it. That's bizarre and a vivid image. We have one more paragraph to go. I'm kind of conflicted on this. As everyone should know by now, I have a very strict definition of what creepypasta is and what it isn't. I'm not sure that this qualifies. It has some very specific details. It's actually rather vivid to picture in your head. Something is very crisp about it. I like the way that it's written, but when you're doing these kinds of ritual-based things, it feels as though everything being specific, a lot of the times it doesn't have a symbolic purpose, and it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Whereas when you're writing let's say like a more standard blog style kind of first person narrative creepypasta, you have a creative license to just have your story basically mean nothing, and it can still be a beautiful work of art. A beautiful little lie that you've crafted. Because that's what real life is. It doesn't give you these satisfying answers a lot of the times, and real life horror doesn't necessarily revolve around giving you answers. A lot of the times, something traumatic is going to happen, and you're not going to have answers, and you're left longing and wanting for answers. when you're given these kinds of perplexing statements like 1 pineapple, 3 bananas, 2 apples, and 30 grapes, that feels like it's just trying to be poetic in a way. And that has its own certain beauty. That's when beautiful people are naked. That has its own beauty to it. I'm not sure qualitatively how it stacks up in this genre. This is kind of the crux of it. How do you feel about these specifics? Do these specifics work for you? Could you see yourself going through this kind of ritual, per se? I'm not sure that I would. I think I would hear something like this and say, well, that's obvious bullshit. And maybe I'm jaded, and I definitely am, and too much of a skeptic to believe in this kind of stuff. But I think there are other rituals out there that have a little more gravity. The Evil Cat Lady has just recently brought up the bathroom blonde, which is apparently this urban legend that's going around in Brazil, or has gone around in Brazil. In fact, I just found this little thing. I'm going to read about it real quick. This urban legend is very popular between students of public school in São Paulo. It says that a beautiful girl with blonde hair, about 15 years old, was planning to kill classes. Okay, this is poorly written. One of the ways was to stay in school bathroom, waiting time pass. Okay, I get the feeling that this is an English second language person. One day a terrible accident happened. A blonde girl slipped on the wet bathroom floor and hit her head on the floor. She fell into a coma and soon died. After this, the girl was not satisfied with her premature and tragic end. We've all been there. Her soul would not rest in peace, and she went to haunt the bathroom of the schools. Many students swear to have seen the famous bathroom blonde, pale with cotton in her nose to prevent the bloodstains. Oh, this is different than what the Evil Cat Lady was telling me, but it follows the same general principles. And I still have the question of what is a blonde doing in Brazil. But what the Evil Cat Lady purported that you could do is go to a public bathroom and flush the toilet and curse 3 times, and it will summon her. And there were some very interesting cultural taboos around cursing because of this dictatorship that was there. That's all really cool and interesting and specific, and that I think is a lot more believable than collecting a specific number of fruits and putting them in a basket. So I think that you can have those kinds of urban legends that are very grounded, and those are a lot more believable, whereas this seems more idealized and not something I would actually believe people to go through. I don't think people would do this to gain knowledge, genuinely, you know. So, continuing on, let's finish up this story. When he is finished, he will get up, kneel down at your side, and whisper into your ear, "What would you like to know?" I didn't do that with a Japanese accent. I should have done that with a Japanese accent, shouldn't I have? What would you like to know? Oh my god, that is super racist sounding. This is the only time you can speak to him, so choose your words wisely. You can ask him anything, from who you will marry to when your death date is. He has all of the answers to those questions and more. But you only get one question. When you ask him, stare directly into his eyes. When you are finished, he will whisper the answer into your ear. After this, he will get up and walk away from you, and back into the trees. Do not look away from him until he's completely out of your view. You will doze off and wake up in your bed the next morning. So it builds up all of this like, you can only ask him one question. But, you know, besides the labor of getting a cut and buying a few, you know, fruits here and there, you could do this as many times as you want, I think, right? It doesn't say one per customer. Also, I think you're supposed to be staring into his eyes while he's whispering in your ear, and I don't know the practical way that is possible. It seems that these kinds of ritual stories always has someone that appears and that you have to look at them constantly or they'll kill you. That's a very common thing. I think that we kind of got some beautiful images out of this, but not a whole lot else. and I don't particularly care for the way that this one rounds out. I am very curious as to what you think. Looking around on the internet, it looks like this is not based in reality at all. I don't think the Japanese actually do this. I would have figured that, but I wanted to fact check it as best I could with my limited fact checking abilities. Yeah, this story is a word I've been using quite a bit. It's kind of flaccid. Doesn't have a whole lot going on. Bleeding on fruit, baller as fuck. I like that. That's working well. Just needs, it's too generic overall. But K. Adams, Adams spelled with a Z, has left this review on the Creepypasta Wikia. Awesome, 10 out of 10. But hey, what if there isn't any forest around? Can this still be achieved in the desert? Appreciate the effort, because I'm really keen on doing this. So somebody out there is is buying into this and is going to try it out. We also have Ghost 40. Very challenging story. 10 out of 10. Alright, let me know what you think in the comments, and let's see, what is our sponsor today? Softcoretube.org. Softcoretube.org. It's where Tipper Gore went after divorcing Al Gore.